Tech Genus tutorial. Now, for this one we have to go over for this one we actually have to go over, give me 1 second. This one we actually have to go over this a little bit differently. Can't use YG Omega because they don't have the scale set in yet. They're also having a few bugs with their game, so please be patient. Actually, let me do this. Okay, so Tech Genus tutorial here. We're going to discuss by going over what the different cards are very briefly. And I'm going to show you some combos. Okay, we got this up to Legend 3 today. If you want to see me get this to Cog, then you're going to want to pay very close attention. Make sure you follow to me on Twitch. So, first card I want to go over is Screw Serpent. If this card is normal summon, you target a TG in your graveyard. Special summon it. Alright? Second effect, you can banish this, then increase or decrease the level of a TG monster you control by 1. Booster Raptor, if you control a TG monster, you can special summon this from your hand. You can only summon Booster Raptor this way once per turn. By the way, the effect is, both of these effects are hard once per turns. Booster Raptor also, when destroyed, can search a TG monster from your deck to your hand. So you're going to search this. Drillfish can attack your opponent directly. Can also special summon itself if all monsters you control are TGs. When a TG inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can destroy one monster they control. Again, this effect doesn't come up much, but it is there. Charge the Light Brigade, mill 3, search a Lights 1. Solar Recharge, discard 1 Lights 1, draw 2, then mill 2. Forbidden Lance, very important. We'll discuss how this card was used. You lance either your turn or your opponent's. Now you're probably saying, why would I lance on my opponent's turn? Well, a lot of decks are using Offerings to the Doomed or Book of Moon. So these are cards that can counter that, because you can activate this on your opponent's turn and protect your monster. Very good. Lumina, also good, because Lumina is a good follow-up. You could take her out if you wish, but she is a very good follow-up play. Searchable too, by Light Brigade. Helps you go for lethal. Miscellaneous Source. Now this is a TCG style card in Duel Links. During your main phase, you can send this to the graveyard. From your hand, all dinosaur type monsters are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Also, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one dinosaur monster from your deck equal to the level, who is equal to the number of dinosaurs you banish. So if you banish 1, you get to summon a level 1. Banish 4, you can summon a 4, and so on and so forth. I think you get the idea here. Next, Fossil Dig. This searches Miscellaneous or your Booster Raptor. But the main goal you Miscellaneous is to summon Booster Raptor. Now, Tuning Gum, I wasn't playing this earlier, but I'm going to tech this. This card is amazing. Not only is it a level 1 tuner, but the effect is crazy. And I'm not talking about really the first effect. The first effect, you can target one monster you control, treat it as a tuner. Okay, cool. However, the second effect, during either player's turn, when an effect targets one exact Synchro, no other cards, banish this, negate the activation. So, M7, Malevolent Spider, all those cards get negated. You protect your big Synchros. Now, as we go over the combos, I'm going to explain what these Synchros do once we get into the combo portion. Now, please try and stay with me. If you can't stay with me, I am streaming this tomorrow at around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will have my Twitch link in the description below. Follow me there. I think this could be a top tier deck or a really strong rogue contender. And I will try to go over my best to explain why. So we are going to go and create duels. Now, the skill we are using, I'm going to write this over here. Oopsie. Yeah, there. Wrong deck. Here we go. Now, pay attention. First things first. Your 2-card combo is going to be your Screw Serpent, plus Drill or Raptor. Raiden leads to this too. Alright, so we're going to go Solar Recharge. Mill 2. Okay, so now we have Drillfish Engrave and Lumina. Do not have combo yet. We need to mill a tuner. That is generically what we want. Well, actually, we do have combo. Never mind. Because we drew Fossil Dig. So we're going to activate Fossil Dig. Fossil Dig can search us Miscellaneousaurus. We're going to activate Miscellaneous' effect to pitch itself to the grave. Now, all dinosaur monsters you summon this turn, unaffected by card effects. Now, you normal summon your Screw Serpent. Banish the Miscellaneousaurus. And this is where the combo starts. And skill is Delta ACCEL. And we'll talk about what it does. We're going to activate. We're going to normal summon the Screw Serpent. We're going to activate our Miscellaneous. And with that, banishing our Paleozoic. Our Miscellaneous, we are going to be able to summon here our Booster Raptor. This is due to the effect of Miscellaneousaurus. We banished one, which is the Miscellaneous, and now we can summon a level 1 monster. Dino right out of the deck. Now, we can Synchro. Level 4 Screw Serpent, level 1 Raptor into our Star Guardian. Now, Star Guardian is a Synchro tuner, which allows you to Synchro summon on your opponent's turn during their main phase, also allowing you to gain 2 additional effects. If it's special summon, you get to target a TG monster in graveyard and add to the hand. And then you can special summon a TG from the hand. Both effects, all effects are hard once per turn. So now, we're going to use the effect to special summon back our Screw Serpent. Activate Screw Serpent to summon our Booster Raptor right on the field. Now, Screw Serpent, remember the revival effect is hard once per turn. We've only used that once. Now, we're going to Synchro summon into our Power Gladiator. At this point, you have 2 routes. Route A. You go into Power Gladiator. You go for Halberd. Route B. Sets you up for Black Rose Dragon into Onimaru. And Route C, you go Onimaru for lethal. So, how do we get to route A, B, and C? Right? Well, we're going to show you route A first. This effect here is really nothing, means nothing. Think of it as a generic normal synchro. Although it does do piercing, and if they do kill it, you get a draw. But that means nothing. Now, we're going to activate Delta ACCEL, which will allow us to special summon a reciprocal dragonfly out of the extra deck. Because we summoned 2 TG synchros this turn. Now, we are going to use our level 5 Guardian with our level 5 Warrior to synchro summon into our Blade Blaster. Blade Blaster takes 1 Tuner Synchro plus 1 or more non-Tuner Synchro monsters to summon it. And it has a multiple amount of effects, all which are really good. First effect is, during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap that would target this card, discard 1 card in your hand, negate it. Very good. It's basically a walking Forbidden Lance. Very, very good. Also, second effect. Once per turn, during your opponent's turn, you can banish 1 TG from your graveyard. Banish this card. And then it comes back during the next standby phase. Yours or your opponent's. So, let's say your opponent activates Needle Sealing, right? I can banish a TG, banish this, then it's safe for that turn. Then it comes back next standby phase. Or, my opponent decides to floodgate it. I can chain banish. Okay, very good. My opponent cannot use, I can discard, negate it. Very, very good. Very protective synchro monster. Excellent card overall. But we're not done. Alright, and you're probably saying, well wait, you needed a Tuner Synchro and a non-Tuner Synchro. Tuner Synchro, non-Tuner Synchro. But we're not done. Reciprocal Dragonfly has an effect. Once per turn, target 1 other TG Synchro, send it to the grave, and then special summon the Synchro monsters used as the material for this card. So we're going to send our Blade Blaster to the grave and reborn these. Remember how good I said Blade Blaster is? Yeah, well now we're getting rid of it. And you're probably saying, well why? I'm going to show you. Because now we can go level 12 into Halberd Cannon. Now, you're probably saying, okay Sean, you're a Loombat. And I'm going to say, well what makes you say that? You just threw your Blade Blaster into the graveyard for no reason. No, not for no reason. We're going to talk about Halberd Cannon and why you do that first. Halberd Cannon has an effect. And it must be synchro summoned, cannot be special summoned by other ways. Takes 1 tuner synchro plus 2 or more non-tuner synchros. Not hard to summon at all. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when a monster would be summoned, you get to negate it. So, what does that mean? They summon Majora. Negate. They cannot chain Glory to this. They can't do it. Glory can only activate when the monster is successfully summoned. It never gets summoned. They summon Gaga's sister. Negate. They summon out any Exceed monster. Roach. Negate. Sin. Negate. M7. Negate. Aloof Lupine, normal summon, negate. Spirit Dragon, get it out of here. Really, really good. It only works on inherent, not effects that would special summon a monster. So be careful. Levianeer, negate. Really good. Second effect. If this card is destroyed, if this card leaves the sent from the field to the graveyard, when? Note this says when. So what does that mean? This can miss timing. Be very careful with that. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a TG monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So, assuming this doesn't miss the timing, our monster's sent to the grave. This is why you summoned this earlier. Go back into Blade Blaster. Really good. So if they summon Desperado, flip 3 coins. Destroy this. You bring this thing back out. So, really, really good. Now, that is one of the routes you can go. Now, pay attention here. What makes Halberd Cannon even better than what it is? How do we make it even better? I'm going to show you. Hopefully we mill this here. Alright, we're going to cheat a little bit. Just for me to make a point. Tuning gum. Remember, in the graveyard, protects us from a targeting effect. M7 can now not get rid of this. They can't bolt it. So, how does this really important with a lance? If you have lance plus Allbred plus this, you pretty much instantly win against Onomat. So we need lance plus Halberd plus gum. Why does this 3-card combo instantly almost win against Onomat? Well, let's talk about it. They're going to summon a sister, right? Let's say they summon sister, right? They summon sister. You negate, right? You negated that. Remember, we talked about that. You negate sister, right? Okay, so that locks them out of the summon. Okay, good. Then they resolve draw. Right, the draw. And activate wind. Now, assuming they go into M7, or they go into their spider, attempt to banish, you negate. Awesome, right? Now you're probably saying, well, where the hell does Lance come in? They run offerings. If they try to offerings you or bolt, Lance, get it out of here. Get it out of here. That's what Lance says. And for reference, we want to summon this in defense all the time. So that way you always have that 4,000 booty. If they offerings, we Lance. And then we're unaffected the rest of the turn. They can't bolt us, can't do anything. The only thing that affects us is Herald. But that's random as heck. So don't worry about that. Pretty much, most of the time, you're going to instantly win against Onomat. Going first with that 3-card combo. You're not going to be able to break that field. Now, Noble Knights, right? How do we beat Noble Knights? They're a top tier deck. So what are we doing to beat them? I'm going to tell you. If you have Lance plus Halberd, especially double Lance, but one Lance is most of the time enough to do it. This is pretty much an auto win. You negate them and draw it. Lance stops their Karma Cut. The more you have, the better. Stop their Karma Cuts. Stop their summons. You don't really need Tuning Gum here. It helps, but you really don't need it. And in that case, they're not going to be able to beat you. Because, how? Madrot or Merlin, negate, and back row or Book of Moon, /offerings becomes unusable. Okay? So, very good. Alright. So, anyway, these back in the hand. Alright. Now, next meta deck. TDs. Combos. So the main focus is Strike Bouncer, and alright, how are we beating this? Well, first of all, this thing negates Levineer. So that kind of cucks them in some way, shape, or the form. Now, Tuning Gum. How do we win with Tuning Gum? Well, let's say your opponent goes Levineer, right? And banishes Dark Roar Hawk. Right? Summons, and you negate. Instant negate. Levineer does not get the pop. No pop. Summon never happened. So, they use Roar, summons Hawk, Dark, searches Hawk, Steward, depending on what they have in hand. So that's either Hawk Duo, normal summons Lupine, or Raiden, dupes to 6 M7. Right? Tuning Gum. Negate. That applies for any Synchro. So, I'm going to give you a bit of a different scenario. At that point, this plus this pretty much auto beats Thunder Dragons. Puts them in a really bad scenario. Doesn't auto beat them, but it puts them in a really bad scenario to where you're generally winning. Because you're playing through all of that. All of their targeting interruption. Very good. At the same time, this is all going first. We're going to talk about how to beat them going second. Now, I'm going to go a little bit further here. Let's say they go double Levineer, right? So they go Melody, right? Instead, go double Lev. Negate the first, they pop with the second. Fine. He dies. Now, revive the Blade Blaster. What does Blade Blaster do? Protected by Tuning Gum. So if they go Blade Blaster, they still can't swing over this thing with Levineer. 3,300 body. And M7, because of Tuning Gum, negate it. Get that out of our face. We don't deal with that. Very, very nice. And if they have like a random book or whatever, we can negate it. Cool beans, right? Very cool. Alright, so Blue Eyes, we have very simply Lance. And all these beaters get over it. Now, Blue Eyes, there's a different way to beat it. I'm going to show you. Remember I talked about option A versus option B? We're going to talk about option B now to beat Blue Eyes. Black Rose plus Onamaru. And how are we going to do this? Well, all the other decks we're talking about option A. But we're going to talk option B. Don't worry about what's in the graveyard. Don't worry about that. Just worry about the combo route we're going. Alright, back to the drawing board again. Now, we're going to banish our miscellaneous. And we're going to do our thing. Most of the combo is still the same. We're going to banish miscellaneous. We're going to summon our raptor. Okay? Now, from that point, we're going to normal summon Screw Serpent. We're going to Synchro summon. We're going to summon out Star Guardian in defense. Star Guardian is going to add back Screw Serpent. And then we're just going to special summon it from the hand. Activating Serpent to go into Booster Raptor. That is your hard once per turn to summon it, so we're going to put a counter on it, knowing we use the effect. Then we're going to go into, this time, our Wonder Magician. Now, this card we did not talk about. Wonder Magician is a level 5 tuner. And if this card is Synchro Summon, you can blow up a spell trap on the field. So if they have back row, pop it. Also, if you go up against Dark Magician and you summon this, and you pop a circle, for whatever reason they didn't banish you earlier, well then you screw them up that way. Because then their circle will not be able to resolve in a new chain. Just letting you know that. Once per turn during your opponent's main phase, again, Synchro Summon this card. Also, other effect, if this card is destroyed, you draw a card. So, there you go. Replaces itself. Now, again, we're going to activate Delta, our skill, and we are going to summon Reciprocal Dragonfly, because we summoned two GG Synchros from the extra deck. 2 Tech Genuses. Alright, now, in this case, we're left with 2 tuners and a non-tuner. And we're going to set a lance. Now, you're probably going to ask me, Sean, why in the hell would you set lance if you get a Black Rose? I'm going to explain. If they try to Book a Moon this before you Synchro in the draw phase, that's why you have lance. So set it. Helps protect the combo. Now, they go up against Blue Eyes, they summon Sage, they set 15 million back row. Right? Or even they summon an alternative dragon. Now, what do? Here's what we do. We activate the effect of Star Guardian or Wonder Magician to Synchro with Reciprocal Dragonfly, because we can Synchro Summon on the opponent's turn. If you've ever played Crystons or Witchcrafters, same interaction during the main phase, or Megaliths, you can chain their effects. Now, we are going to make Black Rose Dragon. Now, if they do anything, wipe the field, they set the back row, summon alternative, boom, they lose it all. Now, but we're not done. We are not done, kiddies. We are not done. We're going to go on this a little bit further. Activating Black Rose's effect, wipe the field. We're going to chain Wonder Magician's effect. Now, you got to be careful of one thing. Black Rose Dragon can miss the timing. It's a one effect. So do not activate your Synchro effect, your effect to Synchro, in response to your opponent activating a card. Because otherwise, when it comes to resolve Black Rose, it'll completely miss timing because your Synchro Summon was chain link 2 or higher. So make sure that you wait for their card to resolve that new Black Rose. Okay? Make sure there's nothing in activation trying to resolve before you do that. Then, to Black Rose's effect, we're going to chain Wonder Magician. And we're going to Synchro with Black Rose. Now again, if our opponent booked our tuner, then we'd be able to lance. And we're going to go into level 12 Onimaru. Now, because it was summoned using a Synchro tuner and a non-tuner, when it attacks, it will gain 3,000 attack. So, if Blue Eyes now have nothing on the field, you wipe them out. And they're dead. If they have something like a Stone in the End phase, they're not dead, but they're not in a great spot because you just wiped everything. Okay? And there might be a case if you have a follow-up Screw Serpent, then you'll be able to OTK them anyway. So, really good. Okay? So that's how you may want to beat Blue Eyes. Option B. Alright? As we talked about. Now, we are going to talk about one more option. Which is option C. Onimaru OTK. Now, there's not really much to say. Except for the fact you're going to do the same combo. You're going to go into your Blade Blaster, send that to the grave. Then after you go into your Blade Blaster, instead of going into Halberd, you just Synchro summon into Onimaru. Same combo. Same thing. You're just going into Onimaru. Absolutely 100% the same combo as A. You just make Onimaru. Okay? So that's option C. Same combo as A. Just end on Onimaru. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. Now, the thing I want to talk about is setting this up with Raiden specifically. Okay? Now I'm going to teach you how to do this. How do we do this if we have Raiden? Well, watch. Let's pretend Screw Serpent is in the graveyard. We milled it, right? Miscellaneous Banish. We summon the tuner. Raiden's on field. Raiden can Synchro summon into Star Guardian because it does not specify you need a specific DG tuner. So you can Synchro Raiden. Add back to the graveyard you screw. Special summon. Activate. Your hard once per turn, summoning your Booster Raptor. Level 5. If you go for the Black Door setup, you need Wonder. Otherwise, we're going Gladiator into Skill. Reciproco. Hall Red. Blade Blaster into Halberd Cannon. Or whatever route you're going. And then again. Oh, that goes to the graveyard too. And there you go. Right off of Raiden. Into your Halberd Cannon. So, that's pretty much going to wrap up our, well, we actually want to talk about one more thing. Against Shark Exceed. Or you want offering. So if you're playing in a tournament, or you want to consider this, and you find out you're going against too many bouncers, run offerings. Because offerings will cut bouncer and then you can combo. That's as simple as that. So that's going to be the best way to beat these decks going turn 2. Okay? That's the other thing I want to bring up. Blue Eyes, you can try to OTK them turn 2. One other OTK possibility that I really didn't discuss, there is one, without getting this extremely crazy. You can summon out Star Guardian, and instead of going full combo here, you would summon your Reciprocal with the skill, right? Skill, summon Reciprocal. And then after you summon it with the skill, you would use Screw Serpent's second effect, which can increase or decrease the level of a TG. We are going to make our boy a level 4. And then we can send these two to go into Brio. And that threatens lethal. Just another way you can go OTKing Blue Eyes. If you go turn 2 and you want to set up an OTK, there you go. That's the way you can get lethal. Also, Halberd Direct is lethal as well. Just keep that in mind. That is the way to go. Okay, if they don't set any monsters or write any standards, then that's a way. But this is just the way you can get lethal, if that's the case. If you want to play through back row and you're afraid that they have back row and they're not just setting monsters, then yeah, go straight for Halberd or go into Onimaru. Onimaru is the best case at that point. If they're going to set a ton of back row, just go into Onimaru. and then Lance to protect going turn 2 against Blue Eyes, and then hopefully you end them right there before they can even summon a Blue Eyes. Very, very good. Or even go into Hall of Brit if they have a Spirit Dragon and swing over it. Alright, so that's going to wrap up the tutorial. If you want to see me climb the King of Games with this Rat Legend 3, I am hoping we can get COG tomorrow. I'm going to aim to do it. Make sure you follow me on Twitch. Link in the description below. I generally start streaming around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard. That is about 1 o'clock Central European Time. So you want to make sure you are there. 4 a.m. Western Time. But I do stream for a while, so even if you don't catch me right as I start, if you come on later, you will be watching the gameplay. So, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and you want to watch me play in tournaments, you can ask me anything. Okay, and I will answer it. Just make sure you're respectful in chat, and I will answer it. And I will post the link below. Alright? Until next time, still Matre with the TG tutorial. Peace!